We are now in our way along Wadi Shu'aib or Jethro Valley. And you see now part of the valley, it comes to our right. So we are now taking the drive now from 1,200 meters above to zero, and then we go below the zero, 416 meters, 416, yeah, below the Mediterranean, below the sea level, and it's the lowest point on Earth. You know that the Dead Sea, known as the Asphalt Sea or the Salt Sea, because it's rich with the petrol and also rich with the minerals like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, zinc, bromine, and it's all good for what? For inshallah the skin, for the disease, for the nausea, for the eczema, and good for the bones, for the rheumatism, for the joints, because all rich with what? Calcium and sodium. And also it's good for the blood circulation and for the heart. Also it's quite good, for the hair. That's why we have the mud mask, we have the body mud, we have the lotion, we have the cream, and also for the germs, for the bacteria, for the fungal. This is a very good, I would say that curing, for this kind of germs. Because, nowadays, most of our socks comes with a polyester or nylon. And also our shoes, it comes also with a polyester, right? See the water on the left? It's from the spring. See the water channel? So it could be the place where he was taking the water in the buckets from Jethro's daughters by Moses alayhi salam. So we were talking about, the minerals. In 1 square meters, we have 33% the vibrate. So it's a very high vibration. It's about 8 to 10 times saltiest than the other seas. So you can't swim, just float. And you'll get to see that the water itself milky and oily because of the rich amount of minerals. So in the northern part, as we are traveling of the Dead Sea, the resorts. In the middle section of the Dead Sea is the environmental area, protected. In the south part of the Dead Sea, the factories. The one for the Dead Sea minerals. Now you have seen how many minerals in the showroom. Like for the Wagner, for eyes, for skin, for the body, for the joints, for all this kind of stuff, the one I did mention. So now you can see how important, God, inshallah, it creates something quite unique for the people, where they can get, as we say, the curing. Of course, we do have a number of companies now running the business. This is what we call our petrol, the most important minerals we can get out of this area. In the meantime, the Dead Sea itself was huge, was big, millions of years ago. And it was coming from the Sea of Galilee, Tiberias, all the way to the Red Sea. But due to the dry seasons and the short of water, it has been shranked into the lowest point on Earth. Now, for example, the Dead Sea, 460 meters below. The Sea of Galilee, 290 meters below. And the Red Sea, 15 meters above. So it came into the basin. So the shape of the valley like a basin. And we are going to the lowest point of the basin. Now we estimate between 70 up to 400 meters the depth of the Dead Sea. None of the people until today was able to go for scuba dive or, as we say, special equipments to dive into the sea. No way. And for this God, medical ihjaz. Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. Because when you will go deep, you can see nothing except salt pillars. So there's no way. And this also was a hated place. Could be when the God sent heavy rains and stones that he hit palm root. So it was a punishment. قلب عليها سافلها. So it was totally flipped upside down. And it has been all covered with what? Water. And it was a very windy day. And of course this was the punishment by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, the palm root. He asked them, when you start the war, you will not look back, but the wife, he disobeyed the order of the God, and she has been punished to the salt of pillar. he and his two daughters, they were able to make the journey out of Sodom and Gomorrah to Zoar. And this was the escaping part. So the wife, she was unfortunately not obeying the God of the, order, and not listening to her husband that she shouldn't do this. So that's why she was from Al-Ghabirin, that she was punished by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. We are now taking the drive, inshallah, to the Jordan Valley, and our destination now to the west. And still we are taking the road down into the valley. Of course you can see some of the farms and the greeneries. This has to be Qawm Shu'aib alayhi salam in Midian. So this was the outskirts where we have the farming area and the fields to feed the city, the shepherds and the farms and the people living on the province. And up on the city of Saltos, which is Salt nowadays, was the capital, the city center as we call it. Look how steep is the valley now, mashallah. وَجَعَلْنَا الْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا. You know what this means? It means that he made the mountain as a king for the balancing. Now what we see, 1/3 of the mountain and 2/3 underground. So it's the base, a pin. For what? For balancing. وَجَعَلْنَا الْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا. أَوْتَادًا means pin. For it to be balanced, the earth. Otherwise there will be earthquakes and collapsing of this, plates of the geology of this area. أفلا تنظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى الجبال كيف سطحت. So now you can see also another example about the mountains. How you can see how these mountains are wide and flat. And it's called also, this is called Ijaz, miracle by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. والتين والزيتون والطور سينين. What does it mean, Tur? Tur means high mountain, the peak of the mountains. Imagine how many ayat in Al-Quran Al-Kareem about the mountains. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها. So you can tell that about the volcanic. See, it's all science. The Quran, inshallah, all science. So talk about geology. Why? Because all this volcanic ash will come out of the lava, right? The volcanic, like in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Mexico, in Europe, right? So the ash of the volcanic, same as here it was millions of years ago, but not anymore. But now we have the fault line, the shifting of the plates, the tectonic shifting. So that's why you see now the solid base of the mountains, granite and basalt. This is what maybe you have seen, you have seen in the mosaic. I was really surprised no one liked the mosaic. The mosaic is what? The precious stones, limestone, marble, lapis lazuli, malachite, onyx. It's all coming from what? From the space of the mountains. Look how now it's quite unique, because we are not too far away from the river bed, where we have the tiny river right behind the farming area. So this is what we call the spring of Jordan. So now you can see the blooms of these flowers. It's now the season for what? Almond. And for the cherry. It's not the time. Now you see the river on the right? Could be the place here. There's what? A lot of caves. Now you see the caves in both sides of the valley. And now you see that tiny river. Look to the river. How it runs. This is from the spring water, and we have the filter station up on the top. And to be a good benefit for the farmers. Now you can see the bamboo. And see the oleander. You see the eucalyptus. And we have a lot of course, kind of bean, the green bean. And that's the season for what as well? Cucumber, tomato, potato, and crops like lentil, wheat, malt, what we grow in here. So we have the crops, we have the vegetables, and we have the fruits. Again, if you like to see the tiny river, look to the right. Of course, it's different than Indonesia. You don't have desert, or Malaysia. You don't have desert. Here we have the desert, we have the semi-desert, and we have the green area. But unfortunately, more than 81% of Jordan, desert. So it will be an experience for you. Inshallah. Look to the bamboo on the right. Now what for the bamboo? This is not good for number one, roofing. Kitchen stuff, baskets. They tie the joints for the beams, for the construction. So it's a good, plant. So we are now in Wadi Shu'aib, alayhi salam. Ahl Midian.